All right, today we are on day 2 of ACT Prep Unit 2, Pre-Algebra 2 topics, and we're going to talk about percent problems today. So for percent problems, the basic relationship for percent problems is the percent times the base equals the percentage. So if you do 25% of 80, you take 0.25 times 80 and you get 20. In a percent problem, you need to find one of the three quantities. Another pretty famous percent problem, percent proportion they call it, is over of equals P over 100. A lot of times in these words, they'll ask you and they'll use these is and of words. And so if you plug it in the proportion and then do cross multiplying to solve it, that's another way. All right, so write an equation and solve to find the percentages. It says Bob drove 30% of his 235-mile trip. How far is that? Well, they want to know what is 30% of 235. If you use your is over of thing, I mean, this is, in a sense, it's easier. When they want a percent of something, you just turn the percent to a decimal. So you do 0.3 times 235, and you get 70.5. But again, if you use the is over of equals P over 100, they're asking you, the percent is 30%, so that's over 100, which is where the 0.3 comes from. And then they want to know, we don't know what is, but we know the of. The total amount he went was 235. So if we solve that, you have, this is our I don't know, so you'd have 100x equals 30 times 235, which would be 7050. And then when you divide by 100, you get x equals 70.5. Okay, number 2, it says Liz saved 33 1/3% off the list price of $96. How much did she save? Well, they're telling you to take 33 1/3, which is 33.3% of 96. So that word means multiply. But you turn this into a decimal, so you do 0.333 repeating times 96, and you get 32. You could have also done is over of equals P over 100. That will also work. And I just did it on the calculator for you. Okay, so it says, there's my little formula again if you want. It says Ben completed 6 miles of a 16-mile trip. What percent of the trip is completed? So the is word is the completed. So is equals 6 of the 16-mile trip. So of equals 16. And what percent? P is your question mark. So again, you can do it the way they're showing you, but I kind of like my is over of equals P over 100. You're just going to do 6 over 16 equals P over 100. Cross multiply, 6 times 100 is 600. Has to equal 16 times P. So then to get P alone, I divide by 16, and I get my percent is 600 divided by 16, which is 0.375. But we're looking for percent, so that means I move it 2 places to the right, and my percent is 37.5%. Number 2, the wholesale price of a ring was $28. The jeweler sold it for $42. What percent of the wholesale price was the selling price? So your of is the wholesale price, so they're telling you that of equals 28. And it's saying was, that's a past term of is, the selling price. He sold it for 42. So is equals 42. And they want to know P again. So I do 42 over 28 equals P over 100. And I cross multiply. So I've got 42 times 100 would be 4200 equals 28 times P, that's 28P, divide by 28, divide by 28, and you get P equals 150%. Okay? You can have more than 100%. That means he more than doubled it. 100% would be if he sold it for double 28, which would be or no, 42. Yeah, it's over 100%. Okay. Oh, sorry, I animated it. All right, so sales tax and discount. Everyday transactions often involve percents. The sales tax adds to a certain percentage of the cost of an item to the price you have to pay. A discount reduces the price of an item by a percentage of its original cost. We have a sales tax formula and a discount formula. For sales tax, you're going to take the original price plus the tax, but you have to calculate the tax by taking the tax rate times the original price, and that will be your final price. Likewise, for a discount, you're going to pay less, so it subtracts your original price minus the discount, but you have to calculate your discount by taking the discount rate times the original price. Okay, so it says Aaron bought a new television for $11.99. What is the total cost of the television, including a 6% sales tax? Well, my formula says the original price is equal to the tax rate times plus the tax rate times the original price is the final. So my original price was $11.99 plus I have to calculate my tax, which is going to be 6% of the price. 6% as a decimal is 0.06. Of is times. The price is $11.99. And if you type that in the calculator, then you get $12.70.94. Okay. Discount example. Kareen saved 25% off the list price of $96. How much did she pay? Well, your discount formula says the original price minus the discount rate times the original. My original price is $96. Take away the discount, which I have to calculate, which is 25% of 96. To write that, it's 0.25. Of is times 96. And if I type that in the calculator, I get 72. Okay? Percent of increase or decrease. Percent of increase is when the price went up. So the new amount is higher than the original. So you take the new minus the original over the original. If it's decrease, then the original amount is higher. So you take original minus new over original. Instead of trying to memorize two different formulas, percent of change is the difference in the numbers. Let's just say the absolute value of the difference of the numbers divided by the original. It's important that the original always goes on, original always goes on the bottom. A lot of people think that always the bigger number has to go there, or the smaller number always goes there. No, that's not true. It's all whatever is original goes on the bottom. Okay, so a couple examples. One, the price of an item increases from $30 to $34.80. Find the percent of increase. They kind of stretch it out here. Your formula is the difference over the original. So to find the difference in the prices, I'm going to do $34.80 minus 30, which is $4.80. And the original amount was 30. So the difference in the amount was $4.80. I divide that by 30. They're doing it by hand. Crazy. Type it in the calculator. So I do 34.80 minus 30. I didn't even do this separately. But if you're going to do this like I'm doing it, you've got to put parentheses around the top. Otherwise, if you type it like this, 34.80 minus 30 divided by 30, it's going to do this first and get 1, and then it's going to give you an answer of 33.80, which is not true. Okay? So it's very, very important if you're going to type it all at once that top is in parentheses, because you want to do the subtracting first and then divide by 30. If you don't type the parentheses, the calculator will follow order of operations and will divide before it does that subtracting. So be careful. All right, a percent of decrease. The price of an item decreases from $25 to $21.75. Find the percent of increase. Again, for me, I just do difference over original. And I type it all at once, but again, I use my parentheses around the top. So 25, take away 21.75, divided by 25 is 0.13. 2 places over makes it a 13% decrease in price. All right, you try this one. hit pause, come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got 5 miles. It said Steve stopped for a drink of water when he had completed 60% of his jog. He had traveled 3 miles. What is the total distance Steve jogged? He's saying you completed 60% of, that means times, his jog. And his jog lasted 3 miles. So I'm taking 60% of 3. Or you could do the proportion, because this is saying 60% of what is 3. Okay, 60% of how many miles is what he's already done, which was traveled 3. Okay, either way, type it in. So 3 times 100 would be 300 equals 60x. So to solve it, then you divide by 60, and I get 5. So his total jog should be 5 miles. When he went 3 miles, he'd finished 60% of his trip. Okay. Try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got, I can't tell where that little check mark is. All right, Cassandra paid $35 for a shirt that originally cost $50. So this is percent decrease because it was 35, or she paid 35 and it was originally 50. So she's paying less, which means it's decreased. So we've got a percent of increase. So we have, oh, wait a second. Sorry. Okay, so let's see. Cassandra paid $35 for a shirt that originally cost $50. What percent of, oh, there we go. What percent of the original price? So original price is of, did the shirt cost, that's your is, and we're looking for the percent. So if I set it up, I'm going to have is over of equals P over 100. So when I type it in, I have 35 times 100, which is 3,500, equals 50 times P, which is 50P. To get P alone, divide by 50, and you get P equals 70%. So it's J. Okay, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got 10%. All right, it says Jeff bought a car originally priced at $10,700. However, there was a sale, so he got the car for $96.30. What was the percent of decrease? When you see that language, percent of decrease or increase, which is what I was trying to do on the last problem, but I didn't see those words, so I had to stop and think. So this is a percent decrease problem, which is difference over original. So when I type this in, I'm going to type, the difference in the price is going to be the 10.7 minus the 96.30 in parentheses, and then I'm going to divide that by the original, which was 10,700, and I get 0.1, move it 2 places over, which is multiplying by 100, and you get 10%. All right, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got H. Okay, it says Tessa bought a car that cost $15,800. What was the total cost of the car, including an 8% sales tax? Well, we have a sales tax problem, so it's the original plus the tax that you have to calculate. So my original was $15,800 plus my tax rate is 8%, so that's 0.8 times the original car, or the original price, which was $15,800. So if I type that in, I get 17,064. Okay. All right, so some practice ones. It says, what is the cost of a $99 item selling for 75% of that price? So the problem is 75% of the price. So they're telling you to take 0.75 times the price, which is 99. So I type that in and I get 74.25. Okay, a tank is at 62.5% of its 640-gallon capacity. How many gallons are in the tank? Again, it's saying take this percent of this amount. This would be 62.5%. As a decimal would be 0.625. Of means times 640. So I type that in and I get 400. Okay. An acorn grew 0.5% from its weight of 2.5 grams. How much did it grow? Well, it grew 0.5% of its 2.5 original. Yeah? So we take 0.5% and we got to move it 2 places left, so it's 0.005 times 2.5. And that would give me 0.0125. So it grew by 0.0125 grams. 4. After 2 weeks on a diet, Raymond weighed 180 pounds, which was 90% of his original weight. What was Raymond's original weight? So they're saying that 180 pounds is, because was is a past tense, so they're saying there's my is. They gave me P. And of is his original weight, which is what they're asking for, so that's my x. Okay, or that's my of, which is my x. So I set this up. I'm going to do 180 over 100, over x, because is over of equals p over 100. So now when I cross multiply, I'm going to have 180x. 180 times 100 is 180, 2 more zeros, equals, this way is 90x. So to solve, I divide by 90, and I get 180. Okay? Wait, what did I do? So I got 180 times 1800 divided by 90 is 200. Oh, this was my little check. I wanted to make sure, is 90% of 200 180? And it's true. So my answer is actually 200, not 180. His original weight was 200. Okay? All right. 5. What percent of a 120-gallon tank is full if it contains 90 gallons? Well, this is your of. Let me figure out where my calculator is going to put this. Okay, over there. So this is my of. And let's see, if it contains 90 gallons, what percent of 120 gallons if it contains 90 gallons? So this is your is, and they're looking for P. So I have is over of equals P over 100. My is my 90. My total of 120 is P over 100. So I have 90 times 100, which is 90 with 2 zeros, equals 120 times P, which is 120P, divide by 120, and you'll get your P equals 75. Okay, so it's 75% is my answer, and then here I just checked it. Is 75% of 120 90 gallons? And it is, so I'm right. 6. A 39-foot pole casts a 26-foot shadow. What percent of the pole's height is the shadow's length? So they're telling you of is the pole's height, which is, that's your of, 39-foot pole, is the shadow's length. So the shadow is your is. So my is over of equals P over 100. That's going to be 26 times 100 is 2600 equals 39P. So to solve, I'm going to divide by 39. And I get 66 and 2/3. Okay, so my percent is 66.6 repeating percent. You could also say it's 66 and 2/3%. 7. 9 out of 60 cans of dog food have been eaten. What percent of the dog food has been eaten? So the dog food is your of. The stuff that's been eaten is your is. So of is your 60 and is your 9. So I have 9 over 60 equals x over 100. That's going to give me 9 times 100 is 900 equals 60 times x is 60x. Divide by 60 and you get 15. So 15% of the dog food has been eaten. And then I think I checked it. No, I didn't. No. Alright, number 8. Chris is 20 years old and Susan is 50 years old. What percent of Susan's age is Chris? So Susan is of and Chris is. So I'm going to have 20 over 50 is over of equals p over 100. 20 times 100 is going to give me 2,000 equals 50 times x is going to be 50x. Divide by 50 and I get x is 40%. Okay. Number 9. When 19% full, a tank contains 136.8 gallons. How much does the full tank hold? Well, they're giving you the percentage. Okay. When it's 19% full, that's 100, and that is 19% is 136.8 gallons. The full tank, that's your of. So I'm going to have is over of equals p over 100. There's my is, there's my of. P is 19 over 100. So when I multiply this way, I get, I got calculator stuff over there. This just moves it 2 places over, so I get 13680 equals 19x. So get x, I divide by 19, and I get 720. Then I'm going to check it. If this is right, then 19% of 720 should be 136.8. And I try to type it in. 19% of 720 is 136.8. So it's checks. 10. When a cup is 75% filled, it contains 75 ounces. How much can the cup hold? Again, they're saying 75% is 75 ounces. The total amount it can hold is your of. So we're going to set up is over of equals p over 100. That's going to give me 7,500 equals 75x. Divide by 75. And I get x equals 100. So the cup can hold 100 ounces. Okay. And if I checked it, did I check it? Yep. I tried 75%. So this says 75% of 100 is 75. And that's true. 11. A certain baseball stadium is 60% filled when it has 1,500 people in attendance. How many people can the stadium hold? They're saying that 60% is 15,000 people. So that's your is, that's your p, and again, the total is your of. So if I set that up, I have is over of equals p over 100. Cross multiply. You get, sorry, I'm trying to figure out where my calculator stuff's going to pop up. You get 15000 with 2 more zeros equal 60x. So divide by 60 and you get 25,000. So if I check it, 60% of 25,000 should be 15,000. And it is. So it checks. 12. A price increased from 15 to 1830. What was the percent of increase? There's my magic words that tells me I'm doing difference divided by original and then turning it to a percent. So to find my distance, or my difference, okay, I'm going to subtract them with parentheses on top, and then I divide by the original, which was 15, and I get 0.22. To write it as a percent, you multiply by 100 or move it 2 places over, and it would be 22%. Okay? 13, an $82 item is on sale for $50.84. What is the percent of decrease? Magic words again, that's difference divided by original. So, when I take the difference, I use my parentheses. 82 minus 50, 84, and the original was 82, so divide by 82, you get 0.38. Multiply by 100 to turn it to a percent, or just move it 2 places over, and I get 38%. Okay? Alright, so then I'm going to do 14. It says the number of students in a school decreased from 4850 to 3104. What is the percent decrease? Again, that's my difference in numbers divided by original, and then move it twice to turn it to a decimal. So if I do my difference with parentheses carefully, the bigger minus the smaller, not necessarily the bigger, but it started at 4850, so that's my original, is 0.36, multiplied by 100 to turn it into a percent, and I get 36%. 15. A balloon went from 13,500 feet to 19,008 feet. What is the percent of increase? That's that family, the difference formula. So using parentheses, be careful, subtract, and you divide by the original, which was 13.5, and you get 4.408. Turn it to a percent, move it 2 places left, and you get 40.8%. 16. What is the total cost of a $28.50 garden rake, including an 8% sales tax? My formula is the original price plus the tax rate times the original price. So my original price was $28.50 plus my sales tax is 8%, which as a decimal is 0.08, times the original price, which is $28.50. So if I type that in, I get 30.78. So it's going to cost $30.78. Alright. How much would you save? Oh, it says during the end of summer sale, an air conditioner that originally sold for $5.10 was discounted, 25%. It says how much would you save if you waited for the sale? Now they're not asking you for the total price. That's 18. To figure out how much you're going to save 25% of 510. You're saving 25% of, which is times, of 510. So if I type that in, 25% of 510 is 127.5. So now that's what you're going to save. Okay, so what is the sale price of the air conditioner? Well, that's where the formula comes in. You take your original price, which was $5.10, and you subtract the discount, which is $127.5. They're just forcing you to do this step by step. I do it all in one step, but so the sale price is going to be $382.50. Phil bought a computer for $2,000. What is the final cost of Phil's computer, including a 6.5% sales tax? So I have his sales tax formula. Oh, I checked it, sorry. Sales tax is the original plus the tax rate times the original. So my original is 2,000 plus 0.01265 of the cost, which is $2,000. So if I type that in, I get 2130. 20 says, how much money would Phil save if he did not have to pay an 8% shipping charge? It says the shipping charge is applied before the tax. So before the tax, it was $2,000. Okay? So I'm going to take $2,000 Oh, they just want to know what he will save, not what the final price is. He's going to save 8% of the 2,000. So he's going to save 0.08 of the 2,000. And I'm right where my calculator is. He's going to do 0.08 of the price. That'll be how much he saves. So he's going to save 160 bucks. Okay? If they would have asked, so what would the price be without shipping, then you would say $18.40. Okay? Alright, so you try this one, hit pause, come back when you're ready. Hit, yeah. Alright, hopefully you got 52.5. It says 21 is 40% of the following numbers. There's your is, there's your P, of is your question mark. So I have 21 over x equals 40 over 100. When I solve this, that's going to be 2100 equals 40x. So to solve, I divide by 40, and you get 52.5%. Okay? Try this one, hit pause, come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got 3,000. It says Mylan's Magic Club collects 4,000 from the sales of tickets when there's a full house. If all the tickets cost the same amount, how much money will Mylan collect from the purchase of tickets if the club is 75% full? Well, we're going to have, there's your P. It collects a total of 4,000, so that's your of. And it says if the club is 75% full, so I need to know 75% of 4,000 is what number? So I set that up, and I have is over of equals P over 100. This is going to give me 100x equals whatever that is. I'm not really sure. It's 300,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Divide by 100, and you get x equals $3,000. Okay, hit pause, come back when you're ready. And you should get 20 hours. It says Joe has to pay $600 rent. He has only 80% of the money. So he has 80% of 600 bucks. If Joe takes home $6 an hour, how many hours must he work to collect the rest of the rent money? Well, the first thing we're going to do is figure out what 80% of 600 is, which is 480. Okay? He needs 600, he only has 480. So how much more does he need? Well, 600 minus 480 is 120 bucks. So he needs $120 more dollars. But they're saying he makes $6 per hour. How many hours must he work to collect the rest of the rent money? So that means that I need to take the 120 divided by $6 an hour, which means he needs to work 20 hours to make up what he's missing. Okay, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. Hopefully you got 0.45. It says Ellen walks 0.75 miles to school each day. She stops to get breakfast after completing 60% of her walk. So they're saying take 60% of her walk, which is 0.75 miles. So when I multiply that in, I get 0.45. Alright, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. Hopefully you got E. Dan plays basketball on his high school team. During the last game, Dan scored 18 points, while for the season, he averages 20 points per game. What percent of Dan's average did he score during this game? Well, he scored 18 points, and he averages 20, so he has 18 of his average 20. So your is 18, your of is 20, and you're looking for percent. That's going to be 18 times 100 is 1800 equals 20 times x is 20x. Divide by 20, divide by 20, and you get 90%. Alright, try this one, hit pause, come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got G. Alright, so during a soccer game, Chad scored 2 of his team's 6 goals. What percent of his team's goals did Chad score? You can do the whole is over of thing if you want. He scored, that's your is. In other words, that's your verb. So that's your is. Of is referring to the team's 6 goals. So there's your of. And they're asking you for P. So I can set it up. Is over of equals P over 100. This will give me 200 equals 6 times x. Divide by 6 and you get x equals 33 1/3. So you get 33.333. Actually, you get 0.3333 repeating. Alright? No, never mind. It'd be 33.3. So that would be 33 1/3. Or you could have just said, what is... Yeah, you could just say 2 divided by 6 is 0.333. Move it over 2 places is 33 1/3. Okay, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. And hopefully you got C. Shannon bought a house for $150,000 and then she had to pay a 9% tax. What was the total of the house, including the tax? My original price is $150,000 plus my tax rate is 9% of the original price. So if I type that in, careful, I get 163,500. Okay, try this one, hit pause, come back when you're ready. Okay, Emma found a barbecue grill she wanted that originally cost $120. She discovered it was on sale for 10% off the original price. Emma bought the grill on sale and then paid a 6% sales tax. What was the final cost of the grill? We have 2 things to do. First, she's got a discount. So I take the original price, which is $120, minus the discount rate, which is 10% of the $120. And that gives me $108. So instead of paying $120, she's going to pay $108. But now she goes up to the register and has to pay tax on that. So now my new price isn't $120 anymore. My discounted price is $108. Plus, they gave me a 6% sales tax, so that's 0.06, times my original amount. Now, not the original $120. What you're paying tax on is the $108. So if I type that in, I get $114.48. Okay, try this one. Hit pause. Come back when you're ready. Hopefully you got C. The original price of a television was $225. During a sale, the price went down to $180. What was the percent of decrease? That's fancy talk for difference over original times 100. If you type it careful, alright, 225 minus 180 is the difference. Then divide by the original, which was 225. Then move it 2 places over, which gives you the 20%. Alright, in 1 month, Dennis's puppies grew from 3 pounds to 5 pounds. What was the percent of increase? Magic words for difference over. sorry, did I give you time to practice this? Difference over original times 100. So when I type carefully, I'm going to type 5 take away 3 in parentheses divided by 3, which is 66.6 repeating, which by now you should realize that the 0.6 is a 2/3. The 0.3 repeating is 1/3. So it would be 66 2/3. All right, and we are finished today with percent problems. I will see you tomorrow for day 3.